This is EA Sports, PGA Tour coverage coming up next. And we welcome you to one of the most popular golf courses on the PGA Tour. It is Quail Hollow. We're in Charlotte, North Carolina, and Frank, it is just starting to heat up out on the golf course. Fans are streaming in, anticipating a highly contested event with the best golfers in the world.
One reason the fans love this course so much, Rich, the Green Mile. It's fine to have a good golf course, but it's got to have a great finish. It's got a great finish, then it becomes a great golf course. Quail Hollow has that great finish of 16, 17, and 18.
Frank, this is a position where a player is absolutely licking his chops here. Good chance to make a birdie.
Yeah, this is when this game just looks like fun. Bunkers don't seem to be in play. The only thing you're really looking at right now is just the flag.
That birdie gets the player to red figures, 1 under for the tournament. Let's go down to the 11th. Has not been a stellar performance to this point, but Frank, not too bad.
When you consider 4-round events, Rich, you're going to have a period where there's a little lull. As long as you can minimize the damage over the course of 4 days, it turns out all right.
Great strike and a great result. Sitting up, good chance to attack the flag. Frank, what's your thinking here on this approach shot at the 11th?
Rich, this is another one. You have to favor the high side, which is the right side of this par 4. And if the flag's in the back corner, just be careful because everything slopes away from off the back left of the green.
Chance for birdie after that beautiful shot. Been pretty good all day from this distance, just trying to take care of business. Very well done, almost made it.
Yeah, there'll be no stress for the next one.
Been a little too much of that, Frank, just sort of ho-hum pars. Frank, I think the mark of a good golf course design, changing directions. We go from a right to left hole, now at the 12th, to a left to right hole.
Yeah, there's no 2 holes at Quail Hollow that look the same. And this one's slightly downhill. Fairway tilts a little bit to the right. And it's a bit of a sleeper. And plus you add in on top of that 450 yards plus. This is a fairway that has to be hit.
And as he strides up here to the 12th green, having hit it in regulation, he knows now that his work is by no means done. A long putt coming up. That is an excellent lag putt right there. Had the speed perfectly. Makeable putt right here, currently sitting at 1 under for the round. Nice par to remain 1 under. Here we are at the par 3, 13th hole. It's 210 yards. What does it take here, Frank?
It's one actually where you'd rather be conservative than aggressive here. And the reason why is this green tends to roll off at the back and the front and the middle there. So it's just something that pitches more in the central part of the green is really what's required.
Tough game, Frank. You can hit 300-yard drives and miss 3-foot putts.
Yeah, there's the ecstasy, and that's the agony.
Trying to grind out a par here. Needs it. Good, solid par right there. Well, Frank, as we arrive at the par 4 14th, just 345 yards, our players no doubt are looking for a little advice from a guy who's been there. You've done it at the highest level. What's the right play here?
Rich, after all these years, I think it's like a modified tee shot. And what I'm going to say with that is like a strong 3-wood, something that pitches around 270 and kicks 30 or 40 yards, finishes up about 20 yards short of the green. I think that's the best ploy. You won't be able to get at all the flags, but I think you'll play the whole under par for the week.
When's the right time to pull out the big driver and have a go at this green?
I don't think there is, but maybe you at home should try.
And with that, 1 under par. Now as we arrive at the par 5 15th hole here at Quail Hollow, 577 yards. Frank, I think a player has to be thinking about doing what Rory McIlroy did in 2010.
It's the last of the holes that you can really be aggressive on, Rich. So a good drive down here. I'm well aware of the fact that there's water on the left. This is a good chance to make something happen before you play the green mile.
And that's what McIlroy did. Hit a tracer, then a 5-iron, knocked it in for eagle, shot 62, and won for the first time on the PGA Tour. That one ends up in the rough.
That went sideways.
Ball sitting down here in the rough. He's digging in. Frank, not where he wants to be, but not out of the hole here at the par 5.
No, but Rich, to drop a shot here would really set him backwards.
No putter, no problem. Slams that into the cup. Don't forget, second round coverage coming your way tomorrow here on EA Sports. For our entire crew, I'm Rich Lerner saying so long for now. EA Sports is proud to present today's PGA Tour coverage. Rich Lerner alongside Frank Nobilo set to call all the action here at the Wells Fargo Championship. We are at Quail Hollow, and Frank, it is really one of the best courses on tour.
It is a great state of North Carolina where Donna Ross developed so many great courses. They're the sort of courses that we're used to seeing, but this is a relatively new golf course. First opened up in 1961, but it certainly fits in with the North Carolina landscape. Mature trees, holes well cut out, beautiful greens, and interesting finish.
How do you like that finishing stretch? They call it the Green Mile.
Some might think it's purgatory, but I think it's the perfect touch to a great golf course.
Well, that's what the great ones do. From the rough, they use their skill and their strength to get it out and get it close. Frank, I'm sure it feels good to get some red numbers on the card, but this tournament is probably too far out of reach at this point.
Good question.
Nothing to argue about there, right in the fairway. Frank, what's your thinking on this approach shot here at the 11?
The second shot here at 11 is anything other than straightforward. There's a bit of a ridge in the middle of the screen. So there's a tendency for that ball to roll around a little bit. Be precise.
And it makes the green in regulation. He really likes this hole. Made birdie yesterday. Can he do it again today? You couldn't ask for much more than that, except to make it. Makeable putt right here. He is currently sitting at 1 under for the round. That is a solid par putt. Here we are now at the 12th, and Frank, this is a beautiful but dangerous hole, par 4.
It is in a number of ways. The hole bends gently to the right, which you'd think would favor a nice little fade, but the fairway just seems to shrink up. I've seen this fairway missed by so many good players. And plus its yardage, 450 odd. You can't really lay back too far, otherwise you've got too long for your second shot.
Seems to like it. Headed for the fat part of the green. So the second of the par 4 goes begging, and now I'll have to rely on the short game.
Yeah, but a short game, as we all know, can redeem a lot of mistakes. Let's see if he does it here.
Been this way all day. Airtight, no mistakes, solid shot.
And yet another green in regulation.
And he has it.
A good putt redeems all.
Now to the par 3, 13th hole. Frank, this one 210 yards.
Very, very good par 3. This is actually a big green. It's 37 yards deep, but it actually plays small. There's a front right portion, there's a roll-off area in the middle, and there's a roll-off area in the back. So don't be deceived by the size of this green. You better be pitching that tee shot right bang in the middle.
has it, now sitting at 2 under par for the tournament. Wow, Frank, this is a really good little par 4, isn't it, the 14th?
It is, and this is where one of those strong 3-woods comes in. The last 50 or 60 yards, as the ball kicks down and towards the left, and it sounds like an aggressive play, but like a hard 3-wood trying to run it down there is actually not a bad play.
Is it drivable?
It is drivable, but it's whether it's worth the risk. That's an absolute beauty.
Frank, on this approach shot here at the short par 4 14th, what's the best way to attack this flag?
Height's always a safety factor because the ball's going to land softer. So this is one where you'd opt for an aerial approach rather than a little pitch and run. Well, that'll put the smile back on the face.
Now at the par 5, 15th hole, 577 yards. Frank, you remember what Rory McIlroy did here in 2010, that final round, 62?
I certainly do, Rich. That was an amazing run on this second 9. And holes like this, too, he just stood up here with a driver and just obliterated it down there with a nice draw, took those bunkers out of play and just set up a mid-iron.
Well, he's going to have to hit the same club a lot harder or just hit another one. Absolutely throwing darts just inside of 5 feet. Now this for birdie, came away with par in the previous round. And with that birdie, moving into the top 20 on the leaderboard. Don't forget third round coverage coming your way tomorrow on EA Sports. For Frank Nobilo, I'm Rich Lerner, saying so long for now. This is EA Sports coverage of the PGA Tour. What really sets Quail Hollow apart here at the Wells Fargo Championship, the brutal finishing stretch. They call it the Green Mile. We are excited to bring you all of the tournament action. Rich Lerner alongside Frank Nobilo. Great line. What a great shot. He has really hit it a long way. Frank, as we look at the second shot here at the fourth, what's the best chance for a birdie?
A nice high floating second shot would be the ideal go here, Rich. Just pitching slightly right of the flag, but you cannot afford to miss this green on the right.
He's knocked it on the green, but not in a great position. This is a difficult chance coming up here. Long birdie try. Not his best shot, and now he'll have to deal with a bunker.
Yeah, they say the hardest shot in golf, the next one.
So getting set for a greenside bunker shot. Frank, when I think of the great bunker players in the history of the sport, I think about Gary Player, Seve Ballesteros, who you knew so well. What did they do that made them so effective on these greenside bunker shots?
They had an attitude for a start that was different. For them, it was, they saw possibilities. And they would imagine the amount of sand. Remember, because this is the only shot in golf where you don't have to hit the ball first. So they would really choose the amount of sand behind the ball, whether that was an inch or two. Aim the club at that and made sure they followed through.
That hole certainly got the best of them. Triple bogey. Here we are at the par 5 fifth. It's 570 yards. Frank, this should be reachable for most players, don't you think?
Yeah, if you hit a good tee shot, especially with the draw, it will be. But the hardest part of this is judging that kick on the fairway that kicks the ball to the right. And it sort of turns at that awkward area at where the top of your tee shot range. That's where that dog leg is. Now, this is not heading in the right direction.
No, it looks like it's going to be in the rough. Into the thick stuff. That's a difficult lie. And setting up here in the rough. Playing a par 5, Frank, what happened on that third shot?
Yeah, it's a poor decision. But well, hopefully he can eradicate that from the memory banks and really knuckle down on this. Do not want to drop a shot or make 6 here. I mean, this skill and that was sublime.
Just good hands, coming out of the rough, able to manage the distance, and now in great position.
A good solid stroke there. No sign of nerves on that.
Wow, Frank, this is all you want in a par 3. 250 yards here at the 6th.
Hey, that's what these guys need, especially in a PGA championship. Fortunately, the hole plays a little bit downhill, but 250, whichever way you cut it, is a big par 3. Second shot.
Okay, good shot on the dance floor. Standing over this putt, concentrating on the read. So frustrating sometimes on the greens, isn't it? Drop shot here at the 6th. Just a couple of feet. Frank, it's been that kind of a tournament. Another bogey.
Yeah, it's not exactly a small gap between that player there and the rest of the field. That gap's got to feel like the Grand Canyon right now.
That is a really good tee shot right there, Frank.
I think that tipped the 300-yard mark.
Now from a good position in the fairway, his second shot. Appears to be a smart shot, Frank.
Yeah, no problem here. That's going to fly all the way. And it was almost like that's what he wanted to do, but why would you want it to run over the back?
Not terrible, but not his best.
Yeah, outside chance, really, for birdie, but really, it was a rather poor approach shot.
Always two components to the long lag putt, the speed, number 1, and then the read. And missed out on that second part. Oh, I thought he had that. Oh, man.
Just pushed it.
Boy, that hurts. Has this now for bogey. Well, with that drop shot, moves to 1 over for the tournament. That concludes round 3 here. Not a very good one, Frank.
Yeah, really a poor performance is the only way to put it, Rich. Missing putts throughout the round really kept them back from putting anything of consequence together.
Presented by EA Sports in association with the PGA Tour. Thanks for joining us here today in Charlotte, North Carolina for the final round of the Wells Fargo Championship. Frank, what do we have out here today?
Well, if history has a chance of repeating itself, remember those great closing rounds by Rory McIlroy at 62. That was one of the best rounds ever shot that year back in 2010. And, of course, that playoff, too. Ricky Fowler back in 2012. We actually beat out then world number 1 Rory McIlroy with that stunning drive down the finishing hole and brilliant wedge to a tight flag. This golf course, it can give it, it can take it away. But for us, from where we're sitting, Rich, we'll enjoy the view today.
No doubt about it. Birdie try up next. Par yesterday. Now for birdie. Very well done. Almost made it.
Yeah, there'll be no stress for the next one.
Getting set now over the putt. In for par. Frank, on this backside at Quail Hollow, a player does have a good chance to get off to a good start with that par 5 10th and now a relatively short par 4 11th, where a player with a good drive could stick a short iron in their hands.
Yeah, this is one you're going to have to make a decision. You can just play this as a straightforward dogleg left par 4 and hit a 3-wood or a long iron up there and 9-iron or something like that into the green. Or, if you want it, you can try and blast a drive around the corner. I don't know if that's the more prudent play, but it's fun.
And it makes the green in regulation. Just want to nestle this one down to within a couple of feet. Looks like he just misread that. Just 5 feet left. Frank, you can see by the reaction, it has been that kind of week. Just a few too many pars. Frank, I think the mark of a good golf course design, changing directions. We go from a right to left hole, now at the 12th, to a left to right hole.
Yeah, there's no two holes at Quail Hollow that look the same. And this one slightly downhill, fairway tilts a little bit to the right, and it's a bit of a sleeper. And plus you add in on top of that 450 yards plus. This is a fairway that has to be hit.
And he's made the green. Boy, this could be a tough one right here, Frank.
It's a very long putt, Rich. Obviously it's difficult, but he still has a shot to sink this one for birdie.
That had to really hurt, Frank, because it looked good all the way.
Well, this will test his mettle. When you consider the length of that putt, it's a good putt. Even par, currently. Well, that was a tricky one, but it's in.
Now the par 3, 13th hole. Frank, this one 210 yards.
Very, very good par 3. This is actually a big green. It's 37 yards deep, but it actually plays small. There's a front right portion, there's a roll-off area in the middle, and there's a roll-off area in the back. So don't be deceived by the size of this green. You better be pitching that tee shot right bang in the middle.
Well, that's what separates the good players from the great players. The ability to get it that close from that kind of lie. Cleans that up in the hole. Wow, Frank, this is a really good little par 4, isn't it, the 14th?
It is, and this is where one of those strong 3-woods comes in. And the last 50 or 60 yards is the ball kicks down and towards the left, and it sounds like an aggressive play, but like a hard 3-wood trying to run it down there is actually not a bad play.
Is it drivable?
It is drivable, but it's whether it's worth the risk.
Superb shot.
Well, that's as good as it's going to get. There's going to be no worries about making that one.
Locked in on the read and speed. We haven't seen a whole lot of that, Frank, but that has to feel good. Now at the par 5, 15th hole, 577 yards. Frank, you remember what Rory McIlroy did here in 2010, that final round, 62?
I certainly do, Rich. That was an amazing run on the second 9. And holes like this, too, he just stood up here with a driver and just obliterated it down there with a nice draw. Took those bunkers out of play and just set up a mid-iron.
He has given this one the full treatment. Perfect release through the ball. And this shot is on the fairway, over 300 yards. Just a bit offline and into the bunker. Well, bunker play is really about technique and feel. The two greatest ever are probably Gary Player and Seve Ballesteros. Seve actually was so good, he was so skilled, that he could open up a 3-iron, that's right, a 3-iron, on a short bunker shot from a greenside bunker and splash it to a couple of feet as if he had just used a 60-degree sandwich. Amazing. Not enough on that one.
Yeah, just seemed to baby it.
Frank, chip shot here from just on the fringe. You like to hit this the way you would a putt?
Yeah, I normally take a club that's going to land just on the flat surface of the green, then run from there. Often people take too much loft.
Pretty good shot right there. Not a gimme, but well within his range. Wow, that was so close, Frank.
Just time to forget that one. I mean, he couldn't hit that much better.
Well, double par here. Time to pick up and move on. At last, we have arrived at the start of one of the most daunting finishing stretches in all of golf. They call it the Green Mile, 16, 17, and 18 here at Quail Hollow. The 16th is a par 4, 508 yards.
And this hole was made even more difficult when they pushed that green further left to bring the water more in play with the second shot. I mean, it's a great par 4. It's strong in every single department.
Birdie chance here. Very long putt, though.
Got to be a little careful if it gets away on him.
You couldn't ask for much more than that, except to make it. Has his par. Frank, this is all you want in a par 3, especially late in the round. You have to carry the water. You have to deal with the pressure. At 221 yards, this requires a player's very best.
On the process of elimination, don't go long, don't go left, don't go short, and right is marginal. It doesn't leave you with much.
Good putt. Down to the finishing hole here at Quail Hollow. Frank, what can we expect?
If there was a name for this hole, Rich, it should be called Narrows. The creek that meanders its way down the left side and actually divides that hole into really half the size of what a normal par 4 should be. That makes it hard. The bunker on the right is your bailout area, just over 290 yards to get past that, and then the narrowest green that still sits up against the lake. This is just a brutal finish.
So maybe a nice way to finish up with a good approach here to the 18th and a good chance for birdie. Now this for birdie came away with par in the previous round.
Now, as they say, 300-yard drive, one shot, miss a short one, also one shot.
Yeah, that's painful. You love to watch him disappear, don't you? Frank, it was a great setting with great crowds. We saw plenty of very good golf. Your thoughts?
I think the course really extracted some of the golf that we saw. It forced these players to play just some great golf. And it wasn't just like a pitch and a putt golf course. So I think seeing the guys tested, seeing the players tested at this level, it was a treat.
NBC Golf Channel on EA Sports, in association with the PGA Tour, proudly presents the season-long race for the FedEx Cup. Today, it's live opening round coverage of the Players. Good tee shot right in the short grass.
Rich, it's not all gone. This is where you can pick yourself off the canvas. Start to string together one or two good shots in a row.
Wipe away all the negative thoughts from the bad start and just try to focus on what's in front of you. All right, so greenside bunker. What's he looking to do with this shot, Frank?
Well, really you have to look at the amount of green you've got to play with. You don't have to try and fly the ball right by the flag. Allow it to run. Plus, if you can get it to run like a putt, you never know. It might just go in.
19 feet away. So frustrating sometimes on the greens, isn't it? Drop shot here at the 6th. This one just requires a little bit of focus. Well, with that drop shot, moves to 1 over for the tournament. Let's take you down to the 7th hole. Certainly a lot of golf left to play in this championship, but what does our featured golfer need to do to turn it around?
It's back to the basics, Rich. Find fairways, find greens, give yourself opportunities. There's plenty of birdies out there, but you've got to give yourself chances.
Frank, you've been there. What's the best way to approach this next shot at the 7th hole?
There's a lot of mounding on this 7th green, to the right and the left. You can use those mounds to kick the ball to the flag.
We just saw a player in total control of what he's doing. Didn't miss a green in regulation all day long. Needs a few more of those. That was a good birdie.
Now this time, that one gets him in the top 10.
Here we are at the 8th at Pete Dye's famed stadium course at the TPC Sawgrass. Rich Lerner alongside Frank Nobilo. Frank, this is a hole that I really like.
And players do too, Rich, especially off that back tee where it must be about 80 yards of shoot that you go through before the hole actually starts to open up. And this green, 11 bunkers in total around the whole putting surface.
Well, that would have been a bonus had it gone in, but still, reasonable chance for par here.
Yeah, there's no damage. You're not going to birdie every hole.
Drops it, and he's at even par. Frank, now at the 9th, this really is one of my favorite par 5s in the entire sport.
And I certainly enjoy watching people play it today, Rich. It used to be unreachable, but the longer hitters now, we're starting to see them go for this par 5 regularly in 2. And the reason why they start to hit the drive more down the right now than what they used to. People used to try and go down the left side. The right side, it hugs the water, but you get a better view of the second shot.
Not missing by much today, but enough to again be in the bunker. Frank, this is the 3rd shot from the fairway bunker.
Yeah, good lie. And once again, just making sure you have enough loft to carry the lip in front of you. And really then focus about the target in front.
I'll tell you what, Phil the Thrill, Phil Mickelson could not have done it any better. What a bunker shot. Record that as a birdie to bring the score to 1 under for the tournament. Second round coverage coming your way tomorrow. For our entire crew, I'm Rich Lerner alongside Frank Nobilo. So long for now. NBC Golf Channel on EA Sports, in association with the PGA Tour, proudly presents the season-long race for the FedEx Cup. Today, it's live second-round coverage of the Players.
Ooh, nice little bounce forward. Should be close to 300, 290.
Second shot now at the 10th, and again, Frank, accuracy is at a premium.
Yeah, gone are the days to sort of thrash it out of the trees like Phil Mickelson. Ideally, coming out of that fairway, you're hitting to a green that moves to the right. So that makes it a little bit more difficult than what the mind's eye first sees.
Well, the stats say that is a green hit in regulation, but it's not yet a par on the card. Very tough putt coming up. That's all he wanted to do there.
Yeah, it's touch. And when you think from that distance, chances of making are almost none. So to guarantee a 2-putt, well done.
Frank, this is just an embarrassing performance.
There's no crying in golf, Rich.
All right, hole number 11 here at the TPC Sawgrass, 558-yard, par 5. No shortage of options, no shortage of hazards, Frank.
If there's one hole at TPC Sawgrass where you can literally leap out of your shoes, this is it.
Wow, he moved that a long ways right in the fairway. Now from a good position in the fairway, his second shot.
Hazard?
Maybe wet. Frank, they threw him a life vest. He's back on dry land.
And I hope this time he swings, he doesn't have the water wings on.
Playing his fourth shot after the third was wet.
Well, that's a little absurd, that, Rich. That shot wasn't that hard, but it's come up well short.
Didn't appear committed through impact. That was a pretty nasty lie out of the rough. He did the right thing there, Frank. Oh, my goodness, he just made that. I cannot believe it.
I was thinking might get it close. And just a great shot.
Up to the 12th, Frank, and a good birdie chance here.
Yeah, good old links, short par 4. This green really divides itself into about 3 sections. There's a little piece to the right, piece short left, and the one at back left. So as long as you know where the flag is, just push that ball into the section where it is. You get up there, you're only going to have 10 or 15 feet left for birdie.
Oh, can't hide the flag stick from that man. Birdie putt coming up. Had a par on this hole yesterday. Frank, I'm sure it feels good to get some red numbers on the card, but this tournament is probably too far out of reach at this point.
No question. Whoop, this is taken off on a weird line.
And it's going to be in the rough, it looks like.
Yeah, that's a little over-ambitious.
Second shot coming out of the rough here. Been this way all day. Airtight, no mistakes, solid shot.
And yet another green in regulation.
Frank, you can see by the reaction, it has been that kind of week. Just a few too many pars. Frank Tiger certainly had his adventures here at 14.
Well, we'll never forget that. Spun it left. In the end, was very, very lucky to get away with 6. Had it been 7, Garcia might have just caught him at the post. But he will, and we will, never forget 14.
So that ball nestles down in the rough. Just got away a little bit on that tee ball. Wouldn't say that was his best, but not bad either. On the green and with a putt. Needs a pair of binoculars to see the hole. So a long putt there and just didn't read it quite right. Standing over this putt, concentrating on the read. That's a nice confidence builder right there. You make those for par, and you keep things steady. So 2 rounds in the books. Frank, that was fun.
It certainly was. It bodes well for the weekend. Saw a lot of good players that seem to actually have a good fit for this golf course. That bodes well for the next 36 holes.
NBC Golf Channel on EA Sports, in association with the PGA Tour, proudly presents the season-long race for the FedEx Cup. Today, it's live third-round coverage of the Players. Pretty good drive here.
Another straight one.
Phil Mickelson said it's like walking on a balance beam. If it's only a foot off the ground, you do it no problem. But if you raise it 10 stories, then it becomes an entirely different proposition.
Well, you see it. As you walk down 16, you look across the lake. There's the green. You see the stand. And then, of course, when you putt out on 16, there's an 80-yard walk to the 17th tee. And over 80 yards, it's a lot of time for the rats to spin on the treadmill inside your head.
Just a couple of feet.
Well, that was a tricky one. Let it in.
And if you're a couple of shots behind on Sunday, that final round, you're thinking about 3, and that's possible, isn't it?
Well, history's shown it has, Rich.
Wow, that is a monster drive down there, about 315 yards. And now the second shot here at this par 5. Appears to be a smart shot, Frank.
Yeah, no problem here. That's going to fly all the way.
And what a shot. Setting up for an eagle here. Not a gimme, but well within his range.
Finally, something happens that's good.
That's a nice shot right there. It may well be the most famous single hole in the entire sport of golf. The 17th, the island green at the TPC Sawgrass. Everyone wants to play it at least once before their days are done. And if you do play it, you know you're going to go home, and your buddies are going to ask you, what'd you make at 17? You better have a good answer. Frank, how much does that birdie help the cause?
Well, it doesn't look like much right now, Rich, just sneaking inside the top 20. But at the end of the day, that might be the one that turned the tide.
He has given this one the full treatment. Perfect release through the ball. And this shot is on the fairway, over 300 yards.
Now, this is not heading in the right direction.
No, it looks like it's going to be in the rough. Pretty good shot right there. So just a formality. Good effort and good par putt. 3 rounds in the books. Outside the top 10 going to the final 18. Frank, what are your thoughts?
Well, I think you're going to have to approach the final round in a couple of different phases. Try and be aggressive early on. If you do get a few birdies in the bank, you really still can fancy yourself with a chance to win. It'll all depend on that start tomorrow.
NBC Golf Channel on EA Sports, in association with the PGA Tour, proudly presents the season-long race for the FedEx Cup. Today, it's live final round coverage of the Players. Frank, he is one of the longest hitters in the game, but at some point, you have to hit a fairway.
Yeah, he's certainly not the straightest. I think that was the bit you're going to put in the middle.
So missed the fairway, and now he's back where he needs to be.
Yeah, minimize the problems.
Now on the green has about 10 feet left there to save par. This is an 11-foot putt. Wow, I thought he made that. Well, you just can't make up ground if you don't make putts. Drop shot here at the 14th hole. So another bogey on the scorecard. And Frank, what happened this week?
I think it's a week to forget, Rich.
Frank, the 15th hole certainly has the respect of the professionals.
But you're right. This is a positional hole where just keep the ball down the left center. You can't go too far, though, because you'll get blocked out or you'll run out of fairway. From there, it's really about knowing where the flag is, what position on this green, because this is another green that's not flat. If the second shot lands on the wrong portion of the green, it'll finish well away from the hole.
Played that one on the commercial side, as they say in the professional game, inside 30 feet.
Yeah, 27 feet to be precise, but to make it from there, that's asking for a bit.
Very well done. Almost made it.
Yeah, there'll be no stress for the next one.
This one just requires a little bit of focus. And he has it.
A good putt redeems all.
Now the start of the gauntlet, 16, 17, and 18. Par 5, 16. Frank, Tiger made birdie here all 4 days in winning in 2013.
Fred Couples made that fantastic eagle many years ago. Hole bends a little to the player's left. You don't have to hit driver here if you're a long hitter, but you really must move that ball right to left.
Playing his second shot here at the par 5. On the green, sure, but plenty of real estate between the ball and the hole. Frank, I'm not saying he should pull out driver here, but this is a long putt.
Greens are fast, though. You never know. Good line, good pace. Might have a chance.
Made a par in his previous round. This time, it's for birdie. And it drops for birdie. Frank, not to plant the seed of doubt, but we must deliver the facts here on this telecast. 44 balls in the water a couple of years ago, 28 last year.
Rich, that's the announcer's curse. What will he do?
Hoping to get this up and down here, Frank, at the par 3 after missing the green.
Yeah, it's not all bad. That just came out blazing. As soon as it hit the green, it was never going to stop.
Set to go. Not an easy shot by any means. It's in the hole. Just a sensational shot right there. Now to the final hole here at TPC Sawgrass, 462-yard par 4. Frank, is this one of the toughest finishing holes in the sport?
It is, because the simple reason you've played 17 holes and the job isn't done yet.
He has just hammered this drive here at the 18th, and now he is in a really good position to make a birdie here on the final hole. This is a good-looking shot. Great way to finish off the final approach shot with a birdie opportunity. Birdie here yesterday. This putt again for birdie. Paying attention like a little kid at school, Frank. That baby's sitting up.
Sitting up. It's got the best view as well. You don't even need binoculars.
Frank, how about that?
Oh, can you believe that, too? I mean, could have hit the flag and bounced away, instead straight in. Amazing shot, and really deserves it.
Well, that'll wrap up our coverage of the final round. This is Rich Lerner alongside Frank Novelo for EA Sports. We'll see you next week. Now one of the more difficult holes in golf. The 18th here at Sawgrass, 462-yard par 4. In 2013, this hole averaged .39 strokes above par. What makes it so challenging, Frank?
Just that big body of water that's to the left of 18 here, that's also shared to the right of 9. Not a single fairway bunker on this 18th hole. So really, lack of definition. It's so hard to find a target here.
NBC Golf Channel on EA Sports, in association with the PGA Tour, proudly presents the season-long race for the FedEx Cup. Today, it's live opening round coverage of the Peach Invitational.
Oh, that's fine.
They'll be pretty happy with that 290-yard poke off the tee. Well, he's going to have to hit the same club a lot harder or just hit another one. Birdie try up next.
Even par currently. That was a good run at it, Rich.
And getting ready for the putt. Well, that was a good-looking putt, just not falling right now.
No, sadly, he's going to be disappointed.
Well, with that drop shot, moves to 1 over for the tournament. And now over to the 5th. It has not gone all that well early in the round for our featured golfer. What do they need to do, Frank, to turn this thing around?
Well, you can't dwell on what's just happened. There's plenty of holes ahead. Look at the scorecard, par 5s to play, things like that. Really pick apart this golf course. There's going to be plenty of opportunities around the corner. Whoop, this is taken off on a weird line.
And it's going to be in the rough, it looks like. Into the tall cabbage. That ball is swallowed up. Frank, here we go again. Another shot from the rough.
Yeah, let's see if he learned his lesson.
Oh, can't hide the flagstick from that man. Never a bad score on the card. That's par. Par 3/6 here at East Lake, always a fan favorite and one of the most challenging holes on the course. Wow, way to the right here.
And there's rough over there. Yeah, it was a little over-ambitious.
Second shot coming out of the rough here. That is a tremendous shot right there. Touch and nerve, had it all, and he has the bottom of the barrel. This is a really good par 4. Dog leg to the left, 434 yards here at the 7th at East Lake. We're at the 7th now. They'll be happy with that in the fairway. Now a good chance to attack this hole. Let's see if they can take advantage, put themselves in a good position to make a birdie on this par 4-7. Not terrible, but not his best.
Outside chance really for birdie, but really it was a rather poor approach shot.
So a long putt there and just didn't read it quite right.
Really. This is an awkward length.
Frank, we see it every single round. These kind of putts determine whether it's a good score or an average score.
Yeah, and just like that, a bogey. He does not feel like he deserves it.
Here at the 8th, again, this is not an especially long hole, but it requires some thinking. It's a strategic golf hole, 405-yard par 4, and it doglegs to the left, so position is key. He has given this one the full treatment. Perfect release through the ball, and this shot is on the fairway, over 300 yards.
This looks like it's going to find the target.
Didn't check, Frank.
Yeah, just not enough spin on that, really. I mean, that almost like took that first bounce and just ricocheted forward.
Nice approach shot. He'll be happy with that. Locked in on the read and the speed. Been a little too much of that, Frank, just sort of ho-hum pars. Now rounding out the front side, finally a par 5. It's a 600-yarder.
What a great shot.
.315. Okay, the second shot now at this par 5. That was a big, bold strike, and now a chance for a big, bold move. Putt for eagle coming up. Nope, didn't get it, didn't hit it. 13 feet away. How does that not go in? Solid effort and reasonable result to stay at 1 over par. What a thrilling afternoon of golf here at East Lake Golf Club in Atlanta, Georgia. For all of us here at EA Sports, I'm Rich Lerner alongside Frank Nobilo saying so long until next time. NBC Golf Channel on EA Sports, in association with the PGA Tour, proudly presents the season-long race for the FedEx Cup. Today, it's live second-round coverage of the Peach Invitational. He's making the game look very simple right now. See it, hit it, and he's got it right on track. Now headed in the right direction into red figures at 1 under par after the birdie. Par 4 7th, slight dogleg to the left, 434 yards. Not the longest, but not bad. 295 yards in the fairway. This looks to be at least an extra club, maybe 2 clubs going way up that hill to the green. Playing this par 4, still not on the green after that second shot.
But still not done. A good third shot. Maybe get away here with par. Another good swing. Another good approach shot.
This one just requires a little bit of focus. Ooh, that hurts. Oh my goodness, he missed it. He missed a bunny. That's like missing a layup in basketball. This for him would be one drop shot. Frank, nothing really went the player's way this week.
Yeah, if this was motor racing, you'd say it's a case of having 4 flat tires.
Now at the 8th, looking at 405 yards on this par 4. Beautiful looking shot right here. Always makes the hole easier, playing it from the fairway. Trying to get a good mental picture here on the approach shot at the par 4 8th. Again, most important to just avoid those bunkers by the green. Well, that's how you play the game right there. Knock it on the green and give yourself a good look at birdie. Different day, different hole. Made bogey yesterday. He'll do better this time, it looks like. Made a good run at birdie. He'll have to focus now. Try to walk away with the par. Some tester from 4 feet. Nothing wrong with that par putt. Now to hole number 9, 600-yard par 5. It is the first par 5 of the round.
Yeah, easy decision if you hit a good tee shot here with a gentle draw up and over that hill, Rich. Then you're just going to go for this par 5 and 2. The problems really come, though, if you hit a poor tee shot. Now you have to worry about the layup. Can you carry the lake? Or if you lay up short of the lake, you have a long third shot.
Excellent start off the tee. That's a great way to begin this hole.
Second shot.
Appears to be what they call a commercial play. Very solid. crucial eagle attempt on the way. Not a gimme, but well within his range.
No, that's a shot gone forever.
That's good work by the former PGA teaching professional, one of the best instructors in the country, with a birdie, and now inside the cut line. NBC Golf Channel on EA Sports, in association with the PGA Tour, proudly presents the season-long race for the FedEx Cup. Today, it's live third-round coverage of the Peach Invitational. Really good distance control there, playing well to his strengths. Par yesterday, now for birdie. This can be a cruel game at times. He's going to beat himself up on the way to the next tee. You don't miss those putts. You don't want to let this one get away. This is about concentration and focus at this point. Good putt. On to the 12th hole here at East Lake. It is relatively short, just 391 yards, but there is a bit of trouble. Excellent, perfect position.
Ball's just sitting up, too. You could hit anything from there.
Frank, this is a position where a player is absolutely licking his chops here. Good chance to make a birdie.
Yeah, this is when this game just looks like fun. Bunkers don't seem to be in play. The only thing you're really looking at right now is just the flag.
So maybe just a tough putt to read, Frank.
Well, I think you're kind there, Rich. 2 feet from that distance. That's the scoring zone.
Has his par. Now teeing off here at the 13th.
Great Bobby Jones used to say the hardest shot in golf's the next one. Judging by that light, it's not going to be too hard. This looks like it's going to find the target.
On the green, and a chance for a birdie. Shouldn't be a problem here. Frank, we haven't seen a whole lot of that, but no doubt it feels good. Let's keep it going now at the 14th, 442-yard par 4. Good contact, good result. Frank, he's cranking it and banking it. Giant drives, a boatload of birdies. What a round.
Yeah, these are the days you just dream for. We know golf's not that easy, but on a day like today, savor it and just keep going. Keep doing it.
So the second of the par 4 goes begging, and now I'll have to rely on the short game.
Yeah, but a short game, as we all know, can redeem a lot of mistakes. See if he does it here.
And he's made the green. Just a couple of feet. Doing what needs to be done. You need to make them from that distance. Now getting settled over the ball here at the 15th. East Lake, second of the par 5s on the course, 525 yards. From a perfect position, ready to play his next shot. One thing you'll find talking to players up and down the range, especially late in the season, is that they are laser focused on making the top 30 in the Tour Championship presented by Coca-Cola. That brings so many benefits. You qualify for next year, all the major championships, all the invitationals. There is just so much that comes with making the Tour Championship and the top 30 on the points list. And with that birdie, moving into the top 20 on the leaderboard. So through 3 rounds, just outside the top 10, what kind of a chance do you give a player who is sitting outside the first 10?
Yeah, it's slim. I certainly would not say none, though, Rich. You know, we've countless times over the years seen someone post an early one in and watch the leaders crumble at the end. Good opportunity tomorrow. Put a good round on the board and then just sit back and wait. And then remember, there's also the chance of a playoff.
NBC Golf Channel on EA Sports, in association with the PGA Tour, proudly presents the season-long race for the FedEx Cup. Today, it's the final round of the Peach Invitational. That was just a beautiful drive. He hit it solid and right in the middle. Frank, really good chance from this position to make a birdie.
Yeah, really the only thing he's looking at right now is the flag. This is a green light special.
Not his best shot, and now he'll have to deal with a bunker.
Yeah, they say the hardest shot in golf, the next one. Well, that's a little absurd, that, Rich. That shot wasn't that hard, but it's come up well short.
Didn't appear committed through impact.
Another good swing, another good approach shot.
Settles in over the putt. Blemish on the scorecard, a bogey. Back here at the par 4 14th, we're ready to tee off. Well, that is a really good tee shot right there, Frank.
I think that tipped the 300-yard mark.
Frank looking at a downhill approach shot here at the par 4 14th. How important is club selection?
It's vital here, Rich. You've got to adjust for that downhill. Plus, the pitch of the fairway, more than often, the ball is going to be slightly below your feet. So if anything, you want to err on the left side of the flag.
Looks like he just misread that. These putts keep the round together. Frank, that looked good to me. Oh, man.
Just pushed it.
Boy, that hurts.